The Cleveland Cavaliers, as we certainly do know it, have restructured their entire roster and have basically said, this didn't work. So they got rid of Isaiah Thomas. They got rid of Dwayne Wade. They got rid of Derrick Rose. We will focus on the first and third names that I just gave you, along with many others, by the way, that didn't fit the equation of the Cavaliers. So who was the more disappointing Cleveland Cavalier? This should be fun. Isaiah Thomas or Derrick Rose? Here's the player comparison between the two. The games played, Derrick played 16, Isaiah played 15. Derrick left the team. He was injured somewhat, right. And then he also just left because he's like, I don't know if I want to play basketball anymore. Isaiah Thomas came back. He put up more points. He put up more assists. He actually put up more rebounds, but by the slimmest of margins. So we'll just, I don't know, do you disregard it or not? He did more. Who was more disappointing, though, between the two?
Oh, of course. I think it's more Isaiah just because of the expectations, not because of what happened. Like the mental basketball issues that Derrick Rose had recently, people I think they almost expected it. So it's all based in expectations. Because he had the issues. Yeah, well, just with being down on basketball based off of the injuries and then the lack of floor time. So Derrick Rose, when that happened and he was like, I'm not sure, it was like an indefinite amount of time. I think he did that this year. There was the indefinite amount of time. He's not sure when he's gonna come back. People gave him trouble for it, but it was almost like, yeah, we've seen signs of this before. So it was more like, can we talk the same trash about Derrick Rose that we've already had, which I think he's had a very bad rep for his career. But
somewhat deserved. I'm not trying to have the Rose Army come after me, but I mean, if you're not going to do the one thing, I've said this so many times, if you're not going to do the one thing the doctors tell you when you tear your ACL, which is go back and play, and you're like, no. I mean,
sometimes it's you're hurting. It's a mental thing yourself. To get back out there and play again.
I agree, but what do you do to get over the mental hurdle? You embrace it and you play, man. It's what we all have to do at some point in time in our lives, is face the adversity.
Not playing made the physical injury
According to the
worse.
Doctors, yes.
The physical injury was worse because he didn't play on.
Yes, because he had to complete his full rehabilitation of his knee. And of course, what happens? He injures his other knee. Then there's another knee injury and so on and so forth.
Well, when you play shaky on one knee, you start favoring the other, and that's when more injuries can happen that way. Am I right or am I right? Anyway, no. Isaiah Thomas is the bigger disappointment just because of the expectations. Again, like you said, the trade was basically Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving. You better be Kyrie Irving. We better go back to the finals, and you better basically be the one who carries them through the finals like he did the year that they won.
Fair point. However, the expectations were limited because we didn't think that we would see Isaiah Thomas grace a basketball court till after the All-Star break.
Right.
So he was coming back a little early, which we did not expect. And he also was trying to work his way in. As I've said many times, you have to build team chemistry. And that goes through going out on the court and trying to find ways to develop that chemistry, that kinship, to play off of one another. He wasn't really afforded that luxury. He was rushed back, he came back. Apparently, from what I read, he's still not 100%.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
So it seems like the expectation shouldn't be there for Isaiah if he's not playing at 100%.
Well, I mean, who's the jury here? I'm going off NBA fans and talkers, which don't really care about those types of things. They just go, what's he done? All right. Isaiah Thomas supposed, half the time you don't even realize when the guy's supposed to be back, what exactly happened to him. Or if he's sitting on the bench like, when is this guy coming back? And they're like, dude, have you ever had this injury before?
So I agree with you. I think the expectations were higher for Isaiah Thomas because he was traded over and he didn't sign a one-year deal in the offseason like Derrick Rose did at the veterans minimum.
Right.
I knew.
And it's who he's replacing, man. You got to be Kyrie, and the thing is, people had hope in that.
Well,
They're like,
isn't that
losing
unrealistic?
Kyrie, but we got Mr. Fourth.
Can we call it what it is, though? Isn't that unrealistic expectations?
Sure, absolutely was.
So now we're like leveling down with Isaiah and getting closer to Derrick because the unrealistic expectations were there because you're the heir apparent to Kyrie Irving. It's sort of like when somebody retires, right? Let's say, for example, the New York Yankees. When Derek Jeter retires, you don't want to be the guy that follows him. You want to be the guy that follows the guy. So like the next player after that is like, oh, okay, we're getting a fresh start because that last guy sucked. He didn't work out at all.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because they're used to the greatness, you know? So, but no, I don't know. Maybe it's leveling it down to a degree, but there's him getting the expectations. We're talking him being Isaiah. It's just, it is what it is. It's the guy you're replacing. Who's Derrick Rose replacing? He's supposed to be. I don't know if he's supposed to be a backup from the beginning anyway. But
he was supposed. If Isaiah was healthy, he would have been the backup completely. Yes, but as we do know,
it shouldn't have been.
As we do know, he hates coming off the bench, along with Jay Crowder, along with Dwayne Wade, along with many others that don't want to go to the bench. Dwayne Wade at least embraced it. The other two did not. So your most disappointing player between the two?
I don't like having disappointment in any player because who knows what all went down.
Yeah, but we're comparing.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Isaiah?
Yeah, because of the expectations, because of what they needed him to do that he wasn't able to do. For whatever reason, that weren't even his fault. Yes.
It's Isaiah by the slightest of margins. The slightest.
What did you expect from Derrick?
Well, what did you... The Rose Army is like strong. They're strong.
I didn't know this.
Wait and see. They're strong. So they have these unrealistic expectations of Derrick Rose the same way that NBA fans had unrealistic expectations of Isaiah Thomas. I don't think that you should set your sights so high, like, oh, he's gonna come in, he's gonna kill it, he's gonna average 29 a game, even though he's never played with any of these guys ever before in his career, and oh, he only has one hip, who cares? Like, I think.
So what, the Rose Army has high expectations to what Derrick Rose can do. What happens when he doesn't do it?
The Rose Army still, that's not a thing. There's no such thing as him averaging 10 points per game. We see 9.8, they see 20.8. Thoughts, comment section below, subscribe to 2 Sports.